Welcome to History Rewind. Let's cover this story, one of the most disturbing, controversial, and unforgettable cases in Canadian criminal history. Paul, Bernardo and Karla Homolka, the so-called Ken and Barbie Killers, appeared like a perfect couple, but behind closed doors, they hid a horrifying secret. Like, share, and subscribe if you like the video, and comment at what time and from where you're watching the video. It began in the quiet suburbs of southern Ontario. In the late 1980s, a region where people left their doors unlocked. A country that rarely made international headlines for violent crime. That sense of peace would be shattered forever by the charming smile of Paul Bernardo, a young man raised in Scarborough, and outwardly everything a parent could hope for. In a son, handsome, polite, confident, but that smile hid something dark, something twisted. Even as a teenager, Bernardo displayed disturbing signs: cruelty toward women, an obsession with control, and fantasies of violent dominance. Meanwhile, Karla Homolka, a seemingly bright, well-adjusted girl from St. Catharines, grew up in a middle-class family, surrounded by golden retrievers and family dinners. She was clever, charismatic, and striking in appearance. When she met Paul in 1987, she was only 17 and instantly captivated. He was 23. Their relationship was intense from the start, obsessive and toxic. What began as romantic infatuation quickly spiraled into domination. Karla didn't just fall in love. She surrendered her identity, but no one suspected a thing. They were the perfect couple, the Ken and Barbie of southern Ontario. While Karla fell deeper under Paul's influence, the city of Toronto was on edge. A predator was on the loose. A man who stalked and raped women near bus stops and walking paths in Scarborough. He was precise, methodical, and brutal. From 1987 to 1990, Paul Bernardo committed at least 13 rapes and attempted several more. Some survivors described his handsome looks, which helped him gain trust before turning violent. Despite multiple police sketches, public warnings, and DNA evidence submitted in 1990, Paul remained free. Why? Bureaucracy, backlogs, missed connections. By the time police matched his DNA in 1993, it was already too late. He had escalated. December 23, 1990, the Homolka family gathered to celebrate Christmas. Karla had invited Paul to stay the night. The entire family trusted him. But Karla had a twisted gift for Paul, her own 15-year-old sister, Tammy. Paul was obsessed with virgins, and Karla, instead of protecting her sister, enabled him. She stole animal-grade anesthetic from her veterinary clinic and used it to drug Tammy's drink. That night, as the family slept, Karla and Paul raped her unconscious body in the basement, all while videotaping the assault. Tammy began to choke. She was vomiting. She wasn't waking up. She died right there, with Paul and Karla panicking over her body. The autopsy ruled it an accident, likely from alcohol and medication. The family grieved, not knowing the truth, not knowing that the real killers were under their roof. Paul and Karla, they moved on like nothing happened. Even filmed another video, this time with Karla wearing Tammy's clothes and calling herself Tammy. This wasn't grief. This was depravity. What makes this case so uniquely horrifying is not just the crimes themselves, but the psychological partnership between Paul and Karla. Many have debated, was Karla a victim or a willing accomplice? She later claimed she was abused, beaten, controlled, but the tapes told a different story. Karla participated in every act. She laughed. She guided the camera. She taunted the victims. This wasn't a woman trying to escape. It was a woman embracing evil. June 1991, Leslie Mahaffy, 14, was locked out of her house after curfew. She never came home. Paul had spotted her walking alone. He lured her into his car. Over the next 24 hours, Paul and Karla filmed themselves raping, torturing, and degrading her. The tape showed Karla brushing the girl's hair between assaults, almost casually, like nothing was wrong. Leslie was killed, though the cause is still debated. To dispose of the body, Paul bought cement, sawed her limbs into pieces, and encased them in blocks. The blocks were later found in a nearby lake by fishermen, a sick puzzle that exposed the horror beneath Dot. Less than a year later, they struck again. April 1992, Kristen, 15, was walking home from school in broad daylight. Paul and Karla staged a broken map scenario, asking for directions. Karla held the map. Paul attacked from behind. Kristen was abducted. She was kept for 3 days, brutalized, videotaped, assaulted. Then she was murdered, allegedly strangled with a noose. Her body was dumped in a ditch, naked, her hair crudely chopped off. Kristen was just a girl going home. Her life was stolen by monsters hiding in plain sight. The break came in early 1993, when Karla left Paul after a severe beating. She filed charges for domestic assault. Around the same time, DNA results linked Paul to the Scarborough rapes. Police arrested him. Suddenly, Karla was talking. She claimed she was a victim too, that Paul was the mastermind. She made a deal, 12 years in prison for manslaughter, in exchange for testifying against Paul. But just weeks after the deal was signed, investigators found the videotapes hidden in the bathroom ceiling of their home. And what they saw changed everything. Karla wasn't coerced. She was laughing, leading, directing. The public was outraged. The prosecutors were trapped. They had already signed the deal with the devil. In 1995, Paul Bernardo was tried for the murders of Leslie Mahaffy and Kristen. The tapes were so disturbing that even seasoned detectives had to take breaks while viewing them. Bernardo was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Later, he was declared a dangerous offender, meaning he's unlikely to ever be released. He was also convicted of the Scarborough rapes. Karla, she served 12 years. She was released in 2005, changed her name, got married, had children. She walks free today. Canada was shaken. The public was furious. How could such evil go unpunished? How could Karla, who enabled the rape of her own sister, serve just a dozen years? In the years after her release, Karla moved several times to avoid media exposure. Each time she resurfaced in Quebec, then in the Caribbean, and eventually back in Canada. She sparked protests, fear, and calls for justice. Parents feared her proximity to schools. Communities petitioned to keep her away. But legally, nothing could be done. She had served her sentence. Experts still study the Bernardo Homolka case as a rare example of a sexual sadistic couple, a deadly pairing where each partner fuels the other's darkness. Paul, a narcissistic predator. Karla, a chameleon who masked her cruelty beneath a facade of innocence. Together, they fed off each other's worst desires. Let us not remember Paul and Karla for the evil they embodied, but instead remember the victims whose lives were cut short. Tammy Homolka, betrayed by her own sister, Leslie Mahaffy, whose final hours were recorded in horror. Kristen, who showed resilience, even while captive. This was the story of Bernardo and Karla Homolka, a case that shook Canada to its core and changed the justice system forever. Evil does not always wear a monster's face. Sometimes it smiles, sometimes it blends in, and sometimes it walks free. Like, share, and subscribe if you found this story important. Comment below at what time and from where are you watching this video. Until next time, this is History Rewind.